What is one VAG product from Europe that you would want to import to the US? Oh, so I was just in Greece last week.
Oh yeah, you got
Yeah,
fresh samples.
the cars in Greece are, well, in Corfu where I was, which is an island, but I suspect Greece is a whole lot different. Um, it's a bunch of tiny little shitbox cars because literally both lanes of traffic are what we have here in the U.S. as one lane. So you have about 8 feet. It's probably the width of your lane. Maybe the whole road is 15 to 18 feet wide. So uh, all these tiny little Skodas and oh god, they're just there's like what's the crappy Russian car that everyone makes fun of?
Lots.
Lada, Pandas. Um,
Yep. And
uh, so I rented a Skoda Citigo, which is built on the same chassis as a Volkswagen Polo, and the up is also I believe the same platform. Um, and this was I think it had like I gotta look at it. I took some pictures. The tires I think were like 130 width. So here in the US, you're not going to buy a car with like less than like 185s on it. These were like 135s or something. I mean, they were like this big. I think the rims may have been 13-inch or something like that. It's basically like the type of wheels and tires you get like on a nice and uh, one of those things when you lift boxes with them and push them around.
Dolly.
Yeah, or you know,
Yeah, Dolly.
is that yeah?
Yeah.
Like you can buy those at like Harbor Freight, and they would have those same wheels and tires as this Citigo. It had a 3-cylinder, looked like an FSI type motor. It wasn't; it was just fuel injected, but it was 3 cylinders. I'm guessing I didn't look it up, but I'm guessing it's probably a 2-valve per cylinder motor. Felt like it had maybe 50 or 60 horsepower, but I think the entire car probably weighed like 1,500 pounds or something. I mean, I'm pretty sure my friend and I could just lifted the car and rolled it over. But it was a blast, and honestly, that car it reminded me so much of a Mark One Rabbit GTI, which to me, going back years, is one of the funnest cars I've driven. And those cars do something where, unlike most front wheel drive cars, when you get to the limit, they don't just push. The back end actually kind of comes around and it turns. It doesn't push. It's very neutral. It's very light. It's because they're so light. So I'd love to have one of those here. I don't know if it's possible, but that car with a good suspension on it, a little more tire. The gearing in this thing was horrible. It's like you could hit like probably 35, 40 miles an hour in first gear. It's really, really not sporty gearing at all. But that car and I'd love to bring that over with 150 naturally aspirated horsepower or something like that. That would be a blast. That would be a lot of fun. But they, yeah, it's not FSI because it's a shit box. I mean, it's just the door panels are like painted metal. There's no door panel. There's like an insert, but they form the sheet metal inside the car and they just paint it. So a lot of the interior isn't even. It's just the car.
0 to 60 in about 12.5 seconds.
Yeah. Is that the Citigo?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't slow. I mean, it was slow as hell. But I mean, the car had power. Like you could do things with it, but it handled so good. It was just a riot. It was a fun little car. But in the U.S. now, we have plenty of big chassis, high horsepower, really comfortable, fast Audis.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
We just don't have those.
This question came up is like if we could just like de-spec some of these cars so we
Yeah.
could get just what we want instead of these like moonroof, glass roof, heavy everything,
Yeah,
spec
like-
to the moon cars.
This was just a crappy little car that was really just fun to drive. Really kind of got down to the basics of driving. So
And apologies, I'm a little distracted. I'm doing a quick little
problem.
support thing here.
So that's what I would go for, and you can buy those in Europe for like $10,000 to $15,000, and this was like a brand new car. I think it was probably a 2021 model. So yeah, with a better transmission, better motor. Now there is there is a Polo GTI in Europe that has like around 100 some horsepower. It's still 3 cylinders, but it's the 4-valve motor. It's FSI, and that's supposed to be a lot of fun. So I'd probably start with one of those, and then see if I could get the power up to like 150, 160 horsepower.